Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, lilivethtatechannel. Good morning, good evening. Today or tonight is January 21st, 2024, 9 p.m. local time, and that would be 8 a.m. Central Time. So, how is everybody in the world today? So, good evening and good morning. So, our subject for tonight is real talk. So we're gonna talk real talk, okay? It's not, uh, you know, uh, Philippine. Hi, good evening, Isa. So it's just like, real talk, okay? So no, no, just, opinion or comment, whatever. And then you're guapa too. Would you like to come in, Isa? Hi, Scott. So I already post, the link on my if you for those wants to join. Okay, so I already post the link on my comment section. Anytime you can click that. Okay. Why naman? You do live? Huwag ka mahiya, dai. Diyos ko po. So, tayo-tayo lang naman dito. Okay. So, real talk and relate much. So this is gonna be exciting. So we don't really want, because it's been a long time that I'm talking about information and tips. What do people don't do or don't? So this time is real talk. Okay, so it's gonna be exciting. Guys, for those who wants to join with me, okay, so the real talk, any experience in life that it's really real, you're very welcome, to join on my channel. And you're feel free, to share your your experience. So this is gonna be real talk, whether good, well, as much as we can do is, it's better, the good side, so that we can give people inspiration. Okay, inspiration. So kamusta ka, Dai? How's how's your work? Hi, Scott. Thank you for coming, Scott. So I'll just wait for for those ones to to join. Okay. So all you need to do is click. Okay, and you're very welcome to join with me. But you know what? When it comes, the weather here. Oh my God, it's so humid this afternoon. Oh my goodness. So here's the thing, guys. So supposedly my schedule that would be 9 a.m. But my connection is they send me a message that they will there's another restoration, and the internet will resume 5 p.m. So what I did is, I was so, because that's my plan, Sunday 9 a.m. I have to do live. So what can I do? So there's no television, no internet, because here in Metro Manila, if there's no internet, you're gonna be bored. So I don't want to go to the mall, because last Friday I watched the news that the COVID. Okay, a lot. Did you notice, guys, that a lot of people they have colds, especially in Cebu. A lot of people they have colds. So it's just like they think that is it's it's that's COVID. That's COVID. But like, we have, vaccinated, so our, our immune system can able, to fight that kind of virus or bacteria. So even here in Metro Manila, I can, when I ride on jeepney, I heard a lot of people coughing. So I still wearing face mask. Okay, especially now that, we call that cambio clima, change weather, because now December, January until February, here in the Philippines, it's not really as cold as in the West. Okay, so people, we're not really used of that weather. So the immune system of people are not really into that, the cold. And then when it's afternoon, it's so humid. So what I did is, oh my god, I cleaned the whole house, everything, my goodness. So you can see my, my house is spotless. So I spend my time because I feel bored. Hi Bob, thank you for coming, Bob. So you can join with me, Bob. I already oh, so I hope that yeah, that's why cuz Scott, last Friday I watched news because a lot of people, on the data, the 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 case, it goes up. So it's just like the Department of Health, one of the that advice that still continue wearing, wearing the mask. Because even though here I noticed that a lot of people coughing and they have colds, so I don't really want. So especially now that it's so hot, it's summer is coming. And then the weather forecast announced that this year we experienced drought, or we call that El Nino. That's means that it's a drought season. Oh my god. So a lot of people go to the mall and let them cool, because the air condition is free there. Hi Jen, thank you for coming, Jen. So I don't. So I spend my whole day, to cleaning the house. Oh my God. So I need to clean, the cushion on my, my dining table, everything. Cause, I really bored. I really bored. So, well, it's just like, oh my God, Bob, you, I'm scared about that, not to wear. Because especially when I ride on, when I ride on the jeepney. So face to face, because on the other side, left and right side, so 9 passengers. So majority of people coughing. So I have to wear face mask. My God, it's really hot. So I try to stay home, because this is real talk, okay? Real talk. Even in the bank. And some people, when they cough, okay, they don't cover their mouth. It's just like, and especially when they sneeze. So I have to wear, I always wear face mask for that. And oh my goodness, when I look at, oh, so I get tired, okay, cleaning, scrub the floor, because I really want to see, my floor is clean, okay, because the floor is white. So I can see that, once I walk barefoot and I can see my foot, it's kind of a dark. So it's time for me to scrub. So I clean everything, on the toilet, everything, wipe everything. So because there's no internet connection, so I just listening, the music on the radio. And then after that, well, I just take a little nap and do something, for my life. Okay. Just now go back home from home day off. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's my my lalab. Amo na siya, Aiza, kung ara ka pa da. Okay, so I'm talking to Aiza because we're same dialect, okay? So she's stay in Ilo, so people call them Ilongga. But we're same dialect. But so Frank is bana ko na siya. So how's your Jane, have you so how is your trip going back home? It's tiring because last night I watched your live, and then you just arrived in Cebu for 4 a.m. So that's very early in the morning. So guys, for those because I really love, especially now that we have internet. It's easy for you to search the things that you really want to know. And then I have so many people that I really admire because of their because of their um guts, okay, and about also their personality, and they're very smart people. So that's I really want to share that. And for those wants to join on my live streaming, you can share also the people that you really admired, because history is very important for those people that wants to know the story. So I really into that. And one thing that I love to watch that in HBO Go. So there's a history. So I've been watching the history about Abraham Lincoln, how the KFC build, the the cornflakes, that it's very it's very inspiring story. And it's so you can see that the people, they have guts on that, how to make their dream successful, or they really stick on the goals that they really want to achieve in life. Okay, so now let's, okay, who is this?
Good morning, Miss Tate.
Good morning, Mr. Bob.
Mayon buntog.
So,
Maayon buntog. I'm trying.
mayong buntag.
Yeah.
So
Excuse me.
how everything is there?
Not bad. I did catch a cold on the airplane ride back. My wife and I both did. But
Mm,
what we do more than wearing a mask is hands, sanitizer. We have a ritual when we get into the airplane. I
mm-hmm,
carry the bottle in my shirt pocket. I open up the tray, pour it all over there, rub it all over everything that we touch, and pass it over to the wife. Everything. Anytime we go to the bathroom, wash up again, sanitize again. But going back to a mask, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be made to do it. I don't want to be forced to do it. I'm very independent.
mm-hmm.
I don't want to be forced to do things like that. That pisses me off. I
Yeah,
already
it's
got
just
all
like
the.
caution about how to avoid things that, because
Hmm.
here, when I go to the mall, Bob, it's just like, everybody touching,
Hmm.
the doorknob
Yeah.
on the mall. So what I did is, I just, on the glass, I just stamp my hand and push,
Hmm.
because that's the one reason everybody can catch that, because anyone, they're
Yep.
not, especially if they're not, aware of, the putting alcohol. So I just put it, I don't care if the guard will get upset on me that my hands mark on the
Hmm.
glass. I don't care. I don't touch, the doorknob.
I get it. I get it. Yeah, I do that here. They have sanitary wipes before you enter the grocery store, and I take my
Mhm.
shopping cart. I wipe everywhere on that shopping cart that my hands go, sanitize my hands, and throw it. You know, that's the biggest way to catch an illness is by touching something and touching your face. That's how the biggest
Yeah,
way to catch it. You know.
especially rubbing your eyes.
Uh huh. Or touching your nose, something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're gonna get sick. Yeah. But the thing is, I just don't want to be forced to do it. I don't like that. I don't like any government intervention at all. I want to be very independent from being
Mhm.
told what to do.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
some people, yeah, they just, you know, well, actually, like, I mentioned that, when I started this, some people, they have no common sense that, once they sneeze, they have to cover their nose, or,
Hmm.
they have,
Yeah.
sometimes they
Hmm.
don't have common sense.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when they cough, you know they don't cover their mouth. So I really,
Hmm.
avoid that, especially that, I love to ride on the jeepney. So here, I don't know if you experience ride on the jeepney, that somebody on the door, they will ask, a favor, to give the payment to the jeepney driver.
Yeah.
So some of the coins, okay, so I always have, alcohol in my hands. And then once I arrive home, I just wash my hands before
Wash
I
up.
touch
Hmm.
anything. Yeah.
Hmm. Good. Good. Good.
Because
Yeah.
I experienced, way back, during the lockdown, Bob, here in the Philippines. Oh my God, after, putting, the face mask, we have a face shield.
Hmm.
So, and then, if you go to the bank, okay, so you have to wear face mask and face shield at the same time you wearing eye, because I'm wearing eyeglasses when I go outside, because when I writing I cannot see. And then it's really struggling me, especially when you breathe, and then the smoke from your eyeglass, my God.
Yeah.
So
I tell you. Let me tell you my story about all the COVID stuff. Seattle was the first area in the U.S. to get hit, and they locked us down for a couple of weeks. Everyone stay home, no matter what the circumstances. Didn't do any good. So, as soon as it started spreading anyway. But here was the shocking thing. Okay, we had to get two injections, a primary and a booster, and just to be able to go see the family over in Davao. And then we got to Davao, and I'm still seeing. I mean, the lockdown was in the Philippines was 10 times worse than anything here in the U.S. Way tougher, way tougher.
yeah.
And here's the mentality that I just can't get my head around. I still see people sitting outside the house and all of the men drinking out of one glass of beer. They'll take a sip and hand it to their friend. It's like, didn't you learn anything? You
Because here's,
really?
Bob. Okay, let
I'm
me
just
stop
like,
you for a while, because they said put alcohol. So the gin, there's alcohol. So
yeah,
instead
yeah.
of putting on their hands, they're gonna drink.
I
So
know,
that's
I
you know
know.
that's crazy.
Hmm. Even before the COVID, I've been going to your country for 20 years. Even before the COVID, I'll sit down and have a beer with the men at a table, but my brother-in-law always gets me my own glass. He always does because he
Mhm.
knows I'm not going to drink out of the same glass from everybody else. I ain't doing it. I'm not doing it. You know,
Yeah.
never. I never do that. Never, never do that. Never have. Never will. You know.
Well, it's just like, when you see that, especially in the province, it's common that, Bob, that, once they drink, just use one glass.
Yeah, yeah, I
To,
know. First time I saw that, I just kind of reeled
oh,
back, like, ugh. I mean, you know, was just another culture shock. You
yeah.
know, it's like eating with your hands. A culture shock. Drinking
Oh,
from the
yeah.
same glass. Culture shock. Yeah, I won't participate in that drinking from the same glass. Mm-mm. No, not
But
doing
now
it.
you learn, you know how to eat by your hand.
Oh, I know how to eat.
I'm
Yeah,
sure.
I do. Hand to mouth.
Oh, you
Yeah,
learn.
little fish, a little bit of rice, throw it in your face. You know. Mhm.
Okay, I have a question for you, Bob, because you married to a Filipina, because a
Mhm.
lot of Filipina, especially, if they ask you, oh, can you please give me the glass over there, instead of pointing, their mouth is pointing.
Yeah, yeah. Uh huh. Oh yeah, I know all about that. Well, my first experience with that is I met a woman before I met my wife a year before, and that didn't work out. But we were in the Makati area, and there was a Philippine Marine Corps base. I can't remember what it's called now, but there was a Philippine Marine in there with his dress blues on. They look very similar to U.S. dress blues. And
Mm-hmm.
I went to my lady friend. I went, "There's a Marine. Oh wow, his uniform looks similar to the U.S." She goes, "Where?" And I pointed at him, and she slapped my hand down. Don't point. Don't point like that. And I learned that um, it's considered rude, and don't point at anyone in the military or in the police. You could be mistaken as an assassin. Yeah. So,
Yeah, because it's
uh,
just like, for Filipino, we don't really pointing that,
yeah.
instead of that, there's a, body language we can use, that, our eyes,
Uh
okay,
huh.
to
Uh huh.
pointing,
Yep.
or sometimes, our mouth, to pointing that, like that, instead of
Mm-hmm.
pointing. So it's just like, yeah, it's so embarrassing that, you pointing people, because, it's just shown that, you're attacking the person.
Yeah, that's that was my first experience with that. But I had another example of that was the British relatives met us in Davao, and I talked to all of them, and I said, "How about we all stay in the same hotel, as close to each other as possible, because it was during election, and you know how it is international. If there's going to be any civil unrest, it's going to be during an election." And so we did. We all stayed in the Marco Polo Hotel in Davao City on the same floor and all that. We kept close in touch.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to walk out of the hotel and go walk around downtown and do a little bit of window shopping and just be alone for a little while. And guard stepped in front of me before I left the hotel property, and he goes, "Are you going out walking, sir?" I said, "Yeah." And I just said, "I'd like to go there down that road." And he goes, "Sir, I wouldn't recommend you go that direction." And he goes like this with his tongue in his cheek, and he goes, he was pointing me to go the other direction. Something was going on down on that street, and he was warning me, "Don't go that way." And he looks that way, and he goes like, "Okay, I got it. No problem. I'll go this direction." Yeah.
Yeah, because, sometimes, they just do that. Filipino, that's,
Hmm.
that's common for Filipino, because, sometimes they don't want to hear somebody, that tell them, oh, don't let people go there. Sometimes, it
Right.
happens that, people go that in a wrong way. So it's
Uh
just,
huh.
instead of, saying it's so that's, that's very very common for Filipino.
Yeah, I learned to pay close attention to eyes and things like that, because they'll tell you, they'll look in that direction. They won't point, but tell you with their eyes, "Don't go that way, sir. Go," and they'll look, and point with their tongue, or point with their lips. So different culture. But I also learned another thing once when I was in Makati City in 2012, and I came. There's a lot of malls in Makati, like Greenbelt Mall, and there are a series of buildings. And I
Yeah.
came out of one building and I lit up a cigarette and I'm standing outside smoking, and I felt something strange. It, if someone stares at your head, you're going to automatically turn and look right at that person. That's just human nature. If you try
Mm-hmm.
that when you're out in public, stare at someone's head, they'll automatically turn and look right at you. It's a weird animalistic thing. It's true. Try it. But I was standing there smoking, and three young men dressed in black T-shirts were approaching me on the sidewalk. And I felt something odd, and I started looking around, and there was a guard across the street, and he was crouched down like this, and he was staring right at me. He's telling me, "Get out of there," with just his eyes by staring right at me and in an unusual posture.
Mm-hmm.
And it went, okay, message received. I threw the cigarette and I went back in the mall. You know, but I think he was telling me that these three young men that were approaching me might be robbers. They might be holduppers. So, you know,
Mm-hmm.
pay close attention when you're walking around over there.
Yeah, because some some Filipino that doing that, not only one, they have contact, two or three. So if they gonna, if they gonna rob you, there's another person
Uh
on your
huh.
side, or maybe there's a person in your front, or in your back.
Yep.
So,
That's true. They work in groups. Yeah.
hmm.
I
So
I was I spoke. I was on another lady's live once, and there's a fella that's courting a Filipina, and he was saying, "Oh, I don't give a," he's an American guy. "I don't care. I'll go there, and I'm big and brave and all that." And I said, "Dude, just listen to me.
yeah,
Been there, going there for 20 years. Just listen to me. I don't want to see you get hurt, but oh, I'm not afraid. Da, yeah, well, when you're going against four or five of them, you're not going to win. You know."
yeah, because well, it's just like this is the thing that I always mention uh last year, that when it comes to my when it comes to Western men, okay, don't bring any, if you're doing that, in in the West, don't bring it here in the Philippines, because you
Yeah.
might get in danger, or you might kick out of the country. So just leave it there. Okay, so once you go to the other countries, all the BS that you are doing in the West, leave it there. Don't bring it to the
Hmm.
country that where you want.
Don't bring it there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So that's that.
Yeah. My wife taught me a valuable lesson because we were at the family's house in Davao, and there's a grumpy old man in the neighborhood, and he was scolding me because I retired at 55, because I should still be working. I said, my body's breaking down. I can't do my job anymore, So I retired and I get a pension, you know.
Mhm.
Oh, blah 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 blah. My wife, and I eventually just grew tired of his insults, and I just got up and left. And my wife just said, "Hon, if that ever happens to you again, just leave immediately. Don't
Yeah.
don't sit there and take the guy's abuse, because he's trying to get you to react, you know."
Hmm.
Because there are a lot of nationalists over there who hate Americans, and that's a fact. That
Yeah.
is true. I've run into it so many
Mhm.
times, man.
Yeah.
Just don't
That's
get
right.
into it. Don't get into a fight over there. Just don't do it,
Mhm.
man. Walk away or run, whatever it works.
Actually, you can tell, Bob, if you're new to the place, if these people are are welcoming you, or you can tell that
Yeah,
these people, they don't like you, because you
they can
can
tell.
tell their body gesture,
Hmm.
the way that
Yeah,
that the way that they
yeah.
talk to you, you can
Hmm.
tell.
You can tell. Yeah. I've already probably got a problem with one of my neighbors in the complex that we moved into, because his dog took a dump in front of my house, where it's part of my yard, and I asked him, "Hey, can you can you come clean this up?" He said, "Yeah, no problem. I'll be there later." I said, "Okay, thank you." And that's all it took to set him off. Every time
Yep.
he drives past my house, he glares at me like a child. Like go.
That if that people shown that kind of attitude, stay away, because you're gonna
Big
get in
time.
trouble in that.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Big time. I just avoid him. I don't want to talk to him or anything. But see ya. Yeah. Because I don't want to get deported. I don't want to be on a blacklist. I want to retire there with my beautiful wife. I don't want to be discriminated against and have not be able to come back. That'd be
Okay.
a big problem.
Okay, let me read this from Frank. I have never received direction from Filipinos saying to north,
No,
south, east, or west.
it's a waste of your time.
Yeah, because
That's true.
even Frank asked me, sweetheart, where's this especially when we're looking for the
Yeah.
car, the dealer ship.
Mm.
And then I told him, is this from the south? No, I don't know that, my love. But when when you ride on, when you ride on the motorcycle, when you stop on that gas station, turn to the left. It's
Yeah.
once you about 5 meters away, it's there. So
Mhm.
I'm not really into that, about south, north, or what. So we just do like the landmark, or
Yeah. Yeah.
the store that we can able to give a direction.
That's a
Well,
fact.
mm-hmm.
Don't just try not to ask for directions at all, because if they don't know, they'll tell you they'll tell you some bullshit just to get you to walk away from them and leave them alone. Oh, it's there. It's there. Oh, it's
It
I've had
happens,
that. It
it
happens.
happens to
Yeah.
one of my subscribers. He's from Ohio, Cincinnati. Okay.
Hmm.
uh he stay in Makati. Okay, and then from Makati going to Fort Bonifacio is just like
That's it.
a few meters.
Yes, I
Okay,
know. I know.
it's
Hmm.
walking distance.
Yep.
So the
Hmm.
thing is, so he went there. He just used the ways on his phone. So he just kept walking, follow the ways direction, and he end up. Oh my God! They said that just only a few meters away from the place that where he stayed. But all of a sudden, he lost because of the street. So
Hmm.
and then he end up ride on the taxi, because the direction is not, because unlike this is Frank told me, in the States, it's a block. But
Yes.
here,
Yeah.
once you end up
Yeah.
on that street, it's
Mm.
another way,
Yeah.
different name. So it's
Hmm.
gonna be confusing if
Yep.
you're not use of that kind of you're gonna lose, if you're not aware of that here in the Philippines.
Do you know what I did? Okay, I stayed about 3 days by myself in Cebu because my wife, my daughter, and Ate Tall went to Palawan to go ride the boats, and I'm not too much into the beach. It doesn't really thrill me, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to my wife, I said, when you guys go, how about I stay on land and I'll go to a restaurant or something when you guys go out boating. So she recommended we're going to stop in at Cebu. So why don't you haven't seen Cebu yet. So why don't you stay there for 3 days and wait for our return? Okay. So what I did when I got checked into my hotel, I pulled up a street map of Cebu City in the area where I was at, and I took a picture of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I also went to Google Earth and I took a picture of that. So when
Okay.
I'm out walking around the city streets, I can just take my phone out and click on a photo, enlarge it, and figure out where I'm at and which direction I need to go. It's very quick. That quick, you've got a map right in front of you, rather than trying to do the GPS thing and all that. Take a photo of a map, and now you'll be able to find your way around. You know.
And then the guy that I mentioned, Bob, because this is so funny also, the story, because he went to Fort Bonifacio, and then it's
Mhm.
raining. So um he decided, to ride on the, the taxi. And then, the taxi, some, guys, some taxi driver, Filipino taxi driver are greed. They just
Uh-huh.
really, they bidding, the
Yeah.
the price. So from Makati going to BGC, if it's, in Fort Bonifacio, it's just like, about, 70 pesos when you ride on the meter taxi. But
Mhm.
this great Filipino taxi driver asks 500.
Mhm. They do that a
And then
lot. Yeah.
my friend asked 300. And then the taxi driver said, no, 400, sir. Because they know it's foreigner. They think that, there's you know and then the last one, because it's raining, he's rushing going to back to, to the hotel. And then he said 250. And you know what, the taxi driver told him, get out. And then,
Yeah.
and say PI. So it's just like, I told them that, oh my god, it's, that's kind of, it's horrible. Because a lot of taxi driver, when they know that, you're a foreigner, they gonna, take advantage. So,
Been there, done
well,
that. Mhm.
sometimes, some foreigner, they don't know that, they just pay. So it reminds me of one of, the is a blogger. And he went to Boracay and buy, just one fish is for 9,000. And then he pay for that
What?
9,000 pesos. So I don't know how big is that, the fish. So it's just like, if you
Huh.
don't really know, they gonna, they gonna take. And then, the fish vendor was shocked, because he's ready to pay the 9,000 pesos.
When I
So
run
that's
into
real talk.
situation, when I run into situations like that, I know some Tagalog, and I'll break out into the Tagalog. Hala, mahal. That's expensive. That's expensive. Voila, voila. I don't want it. I don't want it. Uh, you know, 20 pesos. 20 pesos. And the Filipinos are shocked. All of a sudden, this white guy speaking Tagalog to them. That's too expensive. Bring it down. Discount. Discount. 20 pesos. And they'll sit there and look at you like, oh my God, this guy's not brand new. He's not a rookie.
They know. So
They
that's,
know.
that's a good thing also, for those Western people that learn, like, if they gonna go to Vietnam, okay, Japan, like Philippines, they have to learn a little language,
Mhm.
so that,
Yes.
because like you said, like there's a lot of, foreigner that encountered about, instead, they give you the regular price, because, okay, they can see that, oh, this person is, can't speak, Tagalog. So they gonna, triple, or,
Uh huh.
uh triple the price. So once you speak Tagalog, oh, if they ask something, oh, masyadong mahal.
Yeah.
So they're gonna, oh, and they're gonna surprise, just learn a little Tagalog. So that's why,
Or mahal. Pordoy kano. Or por
so that's,
baroy kano. Por kano. I don't have
yeah,
that much money. I'm broke.
Pordoy.
Pordoy kano.
That's, that's common.
It is. I recall. Okay, this was years ago. We went to Davao, met with a family, and I knew a lady on Facebook that was going to have a feeding program up in Cagayan de Oro. So I
Okay.
arranged that I could go join with the feeding program. I could cook noodles. I want to participate, you know. So wife and daughter flew up, went back home, and I went to Cagayan and did that didn't work out because war broke out in Marawi City. We're in martial law, and I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm lost. I really would because my friend that I met up there, she said, go to your hotel and stay there. Don't come out of your hotel again because of the Muslims. There's a large Muslim population in Cagayan. And anyway, my wife arranged me for me to fly home, but I had to spend the night in Manila, and she got me a hotel room there in Ermita of all places. Do you know about Ermita?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I go, I go to leave the
Yep.
hotel. I needed cigarettes. There's a 7-Eleven right across the street. I couldn't get across the street. The walkers and the pimps were there. Hey, Mister, this one, this. I couldn't even get across the street. There was a crowd. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to walk through a crowd. I'm not going to do that. So I tried several times to come back out, and I went back in the hotel. Come back out and went back in the hotel. And then the last time I I went out there, and the guard saw what was happening, and he came and stood next to me. And there was a bunch of them waiting, wanting me to do this and that. And I went por doi cano, and that guard started laughing so hard. He bent over and he took his hat off, and he was laughing so hard because I said I'm too poor, I'm too broke to pay anything.
Yeah, because that's that's common in especially in Robinson's Ermita. So when you go inside the mall, there's a
Mm,
lot of there's actually there's a Filipino, especially for foreigner, because when I was single, I just go there to do shop in
yeah.
Ermita.
Hmm.
And I can tell, I hear that, they ask, oh, would you like, sir, would you like some woman? They
Yeah.
tell you, how old, you really want, and then this is the
I
price.
I was like, I just want to go get a pack of cigarettes for God's sakes. That's all. Yeah,
Yeah, there's,
you'll hear it. But you know what I
and
did? Can I continue with the story a little bit?
okay, okay, go ahead.
Okay. So what I did though was I couldn't get across the street. So I went in there in the hotel and sat in the bar, got a bottle of beer, and I'm talking to the bartender and to a Korean guy, and we're just because I know a little Korean, and we're talking, got along real well, and I went back out, and I decided, well, I I can't I can't get across the street, and I got one night to stay here, so there was an older lady. She was offering massage, and I said, "Mom, are you a mom? Do you have children?" She says, "Yes, I do." Okay, I'll pay you your rate if you can walk with me across the street to get some cigarettes. And is there a place that we can go dance nearby? And she says, "Yes, I know a place." I said, "Okay, I'll pay you your massage rate if you escort me across the street and then escort me down to the disco." And she did.
Mm-hmm,
She walked in front of me, and she would tell them, "Get back, get back." And
mm-hmm,
we went to that nightclub, and I said, you know, "You want to stay with me and have a few drinks, and I'll get you some food?" And she, "Yeah, okay." So we we're listening to the live band. I ordered some food, and I turned around to look, and there's that Korean guy I was talking to at the bar. I said, "Hey, Chingo, come here, join us, join us."
mm-hmm,
Turned out to be a great night because I asked her, "Do you know another lady who would like to come and join us for drinks and dinner and all that?" Yeah. So she called her friend. The friend showed up. The four of us sat there drinking like pigs, dancing, having a great time. The Korean bought a round of drinks. I'd buy a round of drinks. We back and forth. She translated for us, so we got instant service just that quick. Yes, because she can speak Tagalog and all that. Bouncer came and stood behind me and the Korean. We had the best night of our lives. That was so much fun. We're out dancing and singing and having a great time. That turned out to be really a wonderful night. Good time. Good time. I paid the ladies their rate, their massage rate. They got free food all night, and just off we go. It turned out to be a wonderful night, though.
Yeah, actually, Bob, for those, for those women that, like, doing that, when you ask, that's, a nice way, they will
Hmm.
companion. So
Yeah,
it's up to you how how you comfort this woman, because,
yeah,
if you're, and they can see you that you're, a decent person, they will allow, even though
yeah.
you're strangers.
Hmm.
So,
You're paying for her time, is
mm-hmm,
what you're doing, and
yeah,
I've done that twice in the Philippines. Find a walker. I did that when I was in Cebu too, to get a taxi
mm-hmm,
ride from
yeah,
here to there. I've done it in Cebu and I've done it in Manila. A walker offering massage service, and the first lady I did that with was a mom with some kids. I know she needs the money. Period. She needs it.
yeah.
The second was a single lady from Bohol in Cebu City, and yeah, don't be afraid to do that because
Mm-hmm.
those ladies who they need that money, and they'll treat you really well. We had no problems from that point forward.
Mm-hmm.
Respectable.
Okay, thank you for coming, Kuya Joey official. Kuya Joey, he's married also to a Filipina. He's
I'm from
veteran.
Seattle. I'm a veteran also, Joey. I'm an Air Force vet, and I'm from Seattle area. Back in Seattle now. We just got back from Davao.
Yeah, I think his wife from Davao.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I think. But that's there's this real talk for first time,
Mm,
a Western man first time came here in the Philippines, Bob, and then he went to other, outside Manila, Cebu. Okay,
mm-hmm.
so I don't know how he met this young Filipina. When I saw the, the picture that he sent me, then, wow, she's, she has a innocent look, very, very
Oh,
young, very
yeah.
Filipina. She's pretty.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
the thing is, the story was so terribly bad because, this Filipina invite him to go to her village. Okay,
Oh
so
boy. Mm.
the sad thing is, he mentioned about, the things that he has, 800 USD worth of shades, and then I think he's shown his wallet that, he has bucks, lots
Oh,
of.
don't no, don't do that. Don't do that.
And you know
Yeah.
what, I think,
Mm.
they just stay on the,
They.
on the hotel,
Mm-hmm.
and when he woke up, he lost his shades, and then,
Oh no.
this innocent Filipinas stolen his money. So
Uh huh. Uh
it's
huh.
just like,
Yeah.
and I don't understand, because, here's the thing that, don't, because, especially for those, Western men came here in the Philippines, that, first time, they don't really, they don't fall for those, this innocent look of woman, because,
Mm.
they're
Hmm.
evil inside.
Yeah, they can be. Hmm. Yeah,
So
you
it's
might
just like,
wake up with your phone, your laptop, your wallet, everything gone. And like, man, like my wife warned me many years ago, don't have anybody in your hotel room when you're traveling alone there. Don't. Don't have anybody in your hotel room. Good advice. If you're alone, you better be street smart and don't drink too much.
mhm. Yeah, because, they're gonna let you drunk and, rob you, and then, you just
Hmm.
woke up with just only your clothes, all, the
Hmm.
things that you carried, it's vanished.
Gone. Yeah, gone, gone. No thanks.
So that's why, some of my life that, I give, tips, because it happens, this is real talk. Is not only, the gossip that I heard, but it happens because
It
this
happens.
person is my friend.
Hmm.
Okay. And then I
Hmm.
told it I told him, I advised him, okay, next time be careful. Be careful. And I'm just teasing her. It's okay. It doesn't matter about the thing that you lose, because I think I can say that you enjoy, when so it's just like him laughing on me. But I told him, oh, next time, okay, I know that you need something that to give you a pleasure, but be careful. This innocent look of Filipino,
Uh-huh.
because we never know what's
Yeah.
on their mind.
Mhm. That's a fact. Yeah. My
Uh,
wife told me many years ago, be careful because there have been well documented cases of you bring a lady to your hotel room and you have consensual sex. And as soon as you get done, she says, you better pay me $500 US or I'm going to call the police and tell them that you raped me. What are you going to
mm,
do? You better pay. You'd better pay because you don't want to get the police involved.
yeah. Because
Yeah.
if because some here's the thing that the some of women that go that in the hotel or a motel,
Hmm.
sometimes there's a connivance, that
Hmm.
they do things like this.
Yep, they do.
So
Uh-huh.
be careful about that. We all know that Western people, they really won't come here, just to have enjoy their vacation. But sometimes you have to know first, the area that where you gonna go,
Yep.
search the area, do a little uh search about research about these people, how they deal with with the foreign people. And especially now that
It's
uh
so much. It's Miss Tate. It's so much safer and better to find a wife and stick with her. You
yeah, I
don't
agree.
have to
I
worry.
agree.
You don't have to worry about all that stuff. And I married
But
a lady with a good family, and they take good care of me when I'm over there. So,
okay, so let me read this. Okay, Frank, he is a helicopter repairman. Okay, and then from Kuya Joey, I was stationed rocker from 06 to 08. Okay, well, I don't really, okay, Kuya did most of my 20 overseas, Korea 2 years, Japan 7 years,
mhm.
and multiple vacation in Afghanistan.
I was
Mm.
in the Air Force 84 to 88, and I was in the 474th Tactical Fighter Wing. Um, the U.S. and England, you know. I don't regret my service. It was okay. I did one temporary duty out at Fort Lewis, Washington. I volunteered to go work with the Army on a TDY. We were setting up concertina wire and filling sandbags and stuff like that, and being setting up tents and all that. I wanted to learn the infantry part as well as in the Air Force. We in the Air Force we do a little bit of the infantry stuff, not that much, at least in those days. We did fill lots of sandbags to shoot the M16, but I wanted to learn more, so I volunteered like an idiot. Never volunteer. They always tell you when you join the military, don't volunteer for nothing, man. But it was an experience.
Mhm. So well, this is what I noticed about for those men, not only for West, and also for Asia, that if they're if went to a military, they're very disciplined,
Yes, we are.
very
Yeah, huh?
disciplined.
Very much. Yeah, yeah. You
It
don't
was
you don't need to tell us twice. Just tell me what you need done, and okay, I'll go do it. That's it. Go take care of it. Yeah.
just like you compare about the average people that never went to a military.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a hard to deal with them than the
Yeah.
men that went to a military.
Yeah. I saw that a lot after I got out of the service and then went to work for Boeing, and there was a big difference between us guys who were in the services and the ones who were not. You know, the ones who were in the service, we knew we just the supervisor would just tell us, I need that ADG changed, or the APU blankets need to be installed and all that. And that's it. That's all you have to do with those guys who are in the military. Go do it. And
Mm.
the others, who had no discipline, were hard to deal with.
Well, Kuya Joey said, men came from, military, very disciplined, and matigas ang ulo, hard-headed,
Hmm.
hard-headed. So,
Hard headed. Yep.
are you hard-headed, Kuya Joey?
Hmm.
Well, because it's just like, I have my big sister, she has what, one, two, three, four, five children, uh, two boys and three girls. So there's only one that is not in Air Force. Okay. So I can see that, when there was young, like teenager, they're very stubborn. So when they went, to Philippine Air Force, they're very, I can see that, they're very disciplined,
Yeah.
and they're very polite.
Hmm.
So it's just like, okay, I can see that, it really help also, for those people go to a military, because sometimes, especially that, some kids that they don't really understand about, the military went to, especially go to a war, go to the other country, like, like the soldiers from the United States. If there's a war, they just, like, in Afghanistan, they're gonna bring US, and then, they don't really know about, what the military doing there. So if they have, if they train, they really appreciate those, military that went on war.
You know, I didn't go through war. I was in 84 to 88, and I will tell you this though, that after I got out of the Air Force, I never really felt like I fit into society very well, because I'm out of the Air Force, and when I was in the military, I knew the men and women that I worked with and lived with and ate with. I could count on them. I could count on them. They would watch my back for me, and I did the same thing for them. But when I left, now I'm in the civilian world, and I really didn't fit in very well, because I'm surrounded by people that you cannot trust. You
Mm,
can't. You can't trust them because they won't watch your back for you. Does that make sense to you, Miss Tate?
yeah.
I'm surrounded by thousands of people and working at Boeing, and I couldn't trust these people to watch my back for any reason. They're very selfish. Um,
Yeah.
I never really fit into society after that. I went my own way. I thought for myself and I acted for myself.
So how long you been served in, in US Air Force,
four
before
years.
you? 4 years.
4 years, yeah. And I was in aircraft maintenance. I was on F-16s most of the time. I worked on fighter planes, and that's why when I left the Air Force and I applied at Boeing, and I brought them a resume of everything that I've done on aircraft, they said, "Oh yeah, we'll hire you. Yeah, yeah, come on. We need people like you." And I just did 4 years there, and then I did 30 years at Boeing. You know,
Okay. So
I
let
did
me
find
read this.
I did find some GIs that I worked with that I could get along with real well. They Other GIs, I could understand their mentality, but the civilian world, I never really fit in with them. You know.
So okay, so let me read this from Kuya Jui. 20 years in Army, retired E7, multiple deployments, but my children are more scared of my wife. Her Visaya nature is more intimidating. Oh yeah. Here's the thing, Kuya Joey, that, Visaya women are very, are very, what do you call that, loving. But once they get upset or mad, oh my god,
Ooh, ooh, yeah, yeah,
they
yeah.
just they just like a volcano that explode.
Watch out for those Mindanao girls. They'll kick your ass, you know.
Okay, so from DT Dakin, my father Canadian Army accepted of 2 years posting to Germany 62 to 65. I have brother born in Germany.
27 years in Treasury. Right on, man. Right on, Frank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he just
I've got I've gotten some teasing on because I worked on 737s, 737s most of the time I was at Boeing. And
mm,
you know, you see that 737 way right there, Boeing. And you know, recently that emergency exit door flew off of a Boeing 737, and I was on a live with some Americans the other night, and a guy in there was saying, "Hey, Bob, was that you to install that that emergency exit door?" I said, "Yeah, it was me." You know, what the heck, you know? I was teasing them, saying, "There's no need for cotter pins and safety wire. You don't need that stuff. It adds weight to the airplane." And if you get done installing something and you got a bunch of extra stuff, it's just extra parts. Throw them away. Anybody who knows anything about aviation, that's no, you don't have extra parts. So, I had a good time getting teased about that. Bob, you did that, didn't you? Yeah, I did. So what? If the passengers are cold with the open hole in the fuselage, give them a blanket. They'll stay warm.
okay,
Eh,
Kuya Joey, Bisaya are nicest and sweetest, but never piss them off. Oh yeah.
You know,
So that's well, it's just like that's given, Kuya Joey. Once I think a lot of women, especially Filipina, they gonna piss when once you piss them off. You're gonna.
my wife's. I've only pissed her off really bad just a couple of times, and she just shuts up and she'll walk away. She's and that's it. You know, I one time she cussed at me once and walked away. One time. I don't know what she was saying, and I don't want to know. But she got pissed off enough to start cursing, and that's good enough. I won't do that again. You know.
Uh, it's that you experience that your wife, Bob, it's so upset on you that he don't speak English. He speak Bisaya and then murmuring.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
What
with my army helicopter, we were only worried if they were not
dripping hydraulic
dripping
fluid?
hydraulic fluid all
Yeah,
over us.
that's right, Kuya. I was a hydraulic specialist on the F-16s, and if the system isn't leaking, then something's wrong.
Oh yeah.
It must. If it's not dripping hydraulic fluid or fuel, then something must be wrong. It must be empty.
Okay, so Frankie was
Crew
crow
chief.
chief on UH-58 helicopters.
Okay. Crew dog, huh? Yeah.
Hmm.
I was a specialist. And,
So how's the in the States, because now that they don't really talk about the COVID. So it's after after that, the after 2 years of lockdown in the States, it's back to normal now.
yeah.
Or there's an area that you have to wear a face mask or what. So it's just like voluntarily to wear a face mask, or it's no
If you want
longer
to,
it's not.
it's not
uh
required. The only place it
mm,
is required is if you go for a doctor's visit, which I think I'm okay with that. Because if you're sitting in a
mm,
waiting room with people Who knows what this guy's got or that gal's got? I think that's okay with me. Just wear a mask then. But yeah, I don't want to be forced into doing things like that. I don't like it.
Seattle is just another state or
Yeah. Or no, it's a city.
city?
City,
In what state?
Washington State.
Ah, okay, Washington State.
Not Washington D.C., Washington State. It's on the West
Yeah,
Coast. I live on the West Coast. Yeah.
yeah, I know that
P
because you know.
PNW, Pacific Northwest is where I live.
So how's the cost of rent there? It's
It's
expensive.
it's expensive up here in the Pacific Northwest. Yeah, it is. But we also get paid really well here too. We get paid real well, you know, in Seattle area.
Because in the well, they said in Texas, the cost of rent there is less than like California, like Chicago.
Yeah.
So and Frank told me that in Indiana, the cost of food there is less compared in Chicago, because they don't have tax on the food. So the food there, Bob, it's expensive also.
Everything's a little more expensive than some places, but the food's affordable. Electricity's pretty good, pretty
Mm.
cheap because we have hydroelectric electricity. Food doesn't have any state taxes on it. Gasoline is expensive because the state of Washington puts a lot of taxes on state on the gasoline. But you know, I mean, no matter where you live, it's all comparable to your rate of your pay. You know, it's
Yeah,
basically what I found. No matter where I live, as long as you don't spend all your money on booze and stupid crap, you're going to do okay.
yeah,
As long as you don't drink a lot, as long as you don't gamble a lot, you're going to do okay. You know, the only vice I have is coffee and cigarettes. And that's enough.
yeah. Because once you become alcoholic, everything fucked up. You don't
Everything,
really care.
everything,
You don't really care about your
everything.
bills.
hmm
Hi,
That's
Pooch. Thank you for coming, Pooch.
that's one thing I think I've mentioned to you before, Miss, that my English relatives are alcoholics,
Yeah.
and I that's a disaster looking for a place to happen. You know, if you can't if they're addicted that heavily, then their priorities are screwed up here. You know,
Well, it's just like I don't know because well, I never encountered those people that alcoholic. Well, my
Mm.
in my father's side, they drink, but it's not a habit. Just
hmm
occasionally.
Same here, just once in a while. Yeah,
Mm. But I don't
but
really see, the people that just only in the movie,
yeah,
the
when
alcoholic.
when someone is at the point to where they have to have it, their life is going to be a shamble. You know,
Mm,
it really is because they're spending almost everything they make on alcohol, and alcohol is not cheap.
yeah.
It's not affordable. It's not cheap. When they're addicted to the point to where they have to have what they call a nightcap, that means a shot or two of whiskey just so they can sleep.
Hmm.
Not good. And when they wake up in the morning, they got to have more whiskey or else they'll get go into detoxification, start shaking. Get away from people like that. They're not going to do you any good in your life. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly, Frank. How to live within your means. No matter
Hmm.
where you live in the U.S., as long as you live within your means and don't be too susceptible to marketing and addiction, you're going to do okay. You know,
Yeah. Because if you're gonna spend over your limit, oh,
hmm
you're gonna fucked up. Okay, so
you're
you might
gonna.
get end up, homeless.
Yeah, a lot do. Yes, ma'am. A lot do.
because that's well, it's just like when I look on the on the survey that a few American that has money on the bank, the money that they have just only $5,
Yeah.
average people. So it's just like, what?
Yeah.
Because I thought that oh, okay, United States, we all know that it's that's the uh best country that you can save money. So it's just like people, they don't save money. It's just like once they receive their paycheck, or their they just spend. Because I
Hmm.
can see that on the survey that just only the average people that they has money on their bank is just only 500
There's a lot of people
bucks.
like that here. There's a lot, a lot. Um, I okay. One thing I did many years ago is I disconnected the cable TV and I turned off my television years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of people here in this country who can't do that. While you're watching a television program or the football game, whatever it is, you are bombarded by marketing, and that stuff is subliminal and it works.
Mm-hmm.
People buy stupid stuff that they don't need. They don't need it, but they still
Yeah.
buy it anyway, even though they can't afford it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, it's just like in my thought process, it's just like I buy things that I need. I don't buy things that I want. Okay, because
Yeah.
that you just buy things that you want, that costs a lot of money. So if you
Yes,
buy
ma'am.
things that you need.
Yeah.
Hi Margie, thank you for coming, Marge. You can join with us, Marge. And that's the problem, because this is what I noticed about in the West. When it comes, like dealing with with drugs, they're very independent. Well, I'm not saying that my people, they don't do that.
Mhm.
Okay, they do, but I can see that I can see in West that they're very independent. That they don't
Yeah.
really care, because this is a documentary that Frank shown me, that oh my god, especially women with dealing with this kind of illegal drug.
Mhm.
They do everything, they selling their self just to
Exactly.
have that. So I
Yep.
can't imagine. I can't imagine that. Oh my god,
Yeah.
that's terribly bad. That they're very what do you call that, independent about dealing with this kind of drug.
I'd say some of the drug and alcohol addiction here in the United States is one of the worst parts about living here. Um, I I remember, well, I never fit in at Boeing. I never fit in because I'm an independent thinker. I shut
Mm-hmm.
off my TV years ago, and I don't spend a 2-day weekend in front of a television gulping down beer watching marketing, because that's what a football game is. It's all marketing. It's just selling you stupid stuff that you don't need. You know, now I like my neighbors over here, but I don't live like they do. She's an alcoholic, big time, and she smokes pot too. And he drinks a lot, but not that much. And that's what he does is he sits in front of his television all weekend and watches football games while
Mm-hmm.
I'm achieving something. I'm doing something. I make something, I fix it, I maintain it. Um, and it's there's a big difference between us, mine and my wife and them. Um, by the time they get done buying all the bullshit, they have nothing left, nothing.
Yeah.
And the wife and I, we don't drink, we don't watch TV. If anything needs to be repaired, I do it. If I can physically do it, I will fix it because I've got tools. I'd rather spend my money on tools than stupid stuff. But I'll go back to where I didn't really fit in at Boeing with my coworkers because that's how all of them were. They had great big fat bellies. That's what they did all weekend, was sit in front of the TV and watch the football game. And I recall one time I was sitting at the lunch table eating with my coworkers, and they know I didn't watch the game. And in that marketing, all these guys that I worked with had a yard the same size as mine, but they bought these thousands of dollars John Deere riding lawnmower. And they were talking about their lawnmowers. I've got a John Deere model so and so, and all these guys are way out here. They're same age as me. And they
Okay.
looked at me and they go, "Hey, Bob, what kind of lawnmower do you have?" I said, "A snapper, just a push mower, because I can still get up and walk. You guys have to sit down and ride on a machine because you're out of shape." So they didn't like me very well after that, but it's just a cold, hard truth.
Mhm. Well, it's just like me that, I don't really, buy, like, appliances that, like, do a vacuum, I have a vacuum here, but I don't use
Mm.
that, I just use, my,
It's
my,
sweet.
my hand, to sweep because,
Yeah, yeah,
I don't want to become, a lazy because, for
yeah.
me,
I know what
it's,
you're saying.
so it's just like, for people that, use of that, the things that you're doing, before you have that thing, you don't really do. Okay.
Right,
So,
right.
even Frank, that, especially, the scrubbing machine, on the floor. Oh, no, no, Frank, forget it. That, I enjoy my using my legs, to scrub, to scrub the floor.
Scrub the floor with your feet. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know what you do. Hmm.
So I don't, I don't really, because, it's just like for me that, I still, it also good for your, for yourself because, your body is moving,
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Tools,
yeah.
tools are always worth buying, Frank. They are. Tools come in handy. Any guy who's got a brain at all can fix almost anything if you've got the right tools. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's, when it comes to tools, I told Frank, don't buy Chinese.
Mm, I only do that
Because,
if I have no other choice. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah.
yeah, because, instead, because there's Korean, Korean or uh, Vietnamese, products. So we just go on that because we buy, like, oh my God, I bought, this is, the, what do you call that? The glue gun. Okay.
Okay.
I was so scared, Bob, when I, just, a few hours, when I'm using, because I do my art. Okay.
Yeah.
When I push, it will, it pop, oh my God. I can see the, the smoke. So I was, uh, tell to Frank, because, I'm very, I'm very scared when it comes, like, wiring. If I saw something and I smell, so I tell them
Well,
no.
I'll give you an example. You know what I'm doing while sitting here talking to you? I do this
Mm.
kind of stuff. Tools, right? I got these are made in Mexico. Good trimmers. I'm making my own homemade fertilizer for my flowers for next spring while we sit here and talk.
Oh
Taking
yeah.
little I'm taking little tree branches that I cut off my trees, and I cut them into small bits, and I've got a piece of steel that's sitting on top of a hot plate, a hot electric thing. I dry it out, and then I take that and plus leftover rice, apple peels, banana peels. I heat it up, then I throw it into a tool. It's called a vibrating bowl. It's a big bun, and it vibrates. I throw it all in there, and it chops everything up into a fine powder, and that's
Mm.
my fertilizer for next year for my next year's flowers and for indoor plants. Yeah,
Okay,
if you
because
tools.
you have the machine that, grind,
Uh huh.
into
Uh
a
huh.
fine. Oh yeah, that's
Uh huh.
good.
I
So.
take my leftover rice. I throw
Mm-hmm.
it on that hot piece of steel right next to me here, dry it until it's hard, throw it into the tumbler, or like when I got banana peels, I throw them on
Mm-hmm.
that hot piece of steel, dry it out. I drop it into a very heavy duty blender I bought. That's another tool. Grind it into a powder, throw it into the tumbler, let it tumble, and make it into a powder. And next year, I don't have to buy any fertilizer. I will put some over the counter fertilizer in with my plants, but 90% of what I use is for free. It's just garbage that comes out of the house.
Yeah, because
Because I,
all the leftover, like the skin of the skin of the
mhm,
fruits that you can
yeah,
use that into. But me, I
yeah,
don't have that machine. I wish that I have that machine, because there's a lot, like the vegetable that sometimes when you cook vegetable,
sure.
some part of the vegetable that you don't
That's what I
want
do.
to
Hmm.
so that's
Yes,
that's very organic fertilizer.
it is. It's pure organic. I'll show you a couple little tool things that I made to go into my tumbler. I should put in my. I've got an independent camera. I wish I could show you, but I'll show you a couple little tools that I made. I'll be right
Yeah.
back. Just give me a second.
Okay, sure. Okay, sure. Kuya Joey, Bob, tell your wife to save water and use wash the rice. It is the best thing that water plants with. Oh yeah, Kuya Joey, and I did that, once, because the water that I wash on the I save that, and also the before when I have I plant the bell pepper, and then I before I plant the seedlings of bell pepper, I put fish head. And I have so many fruit of bell pepper, and the shell of egg. But now I'm lazy. Now I'm lazy. you know Sometimes, oh my god, especially that I don't really have space, because I my plants grow fast, my god, especially if it's rainy, they grow fast.
Here's some of the fertilizer that I make. I took a little bit out of the tumbler. It's coffee
Okay.
grounds, banana peels,
Mm-hmm.
rice, everything, and I grind it up into a powder, and I add that with my soil. Here, I'll show you a couple of tools that I just improvised to go in the tumbler. It's like I had most of these are Filipino coins, but I took some brackets that I had laying in a bag around the house, and I glued them onto these Filipino coins. There's some of them are European coins, and these rotate in with the compost matter while the vibrating bowl.
Mm-hmm.
These chop the material into pieces, and
Mm-hmm.
then I glued together a whole bunch of Filipino coins, and these are weight. So everything inside the vibrating bowl is vibrating and rotating, and these chop the matter into tiny pieces, and these crush it into a powder, because these bounce up and down on top of the dry material, and it crushes it into a powder. That's I don't you
Okay.
know that's what I do when I don't waste time. Whenever I got some time, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I do stuff like this.
But that kind of hobby, Bob, you have to be patient. Patient
Oh
for
yeah,
that.
I'm retired,
Especially when
darling.
you dry stuff, it takes
Hmm.
how many days it's totally dry if you put it in the dryer.
A matter of hours.
Okay.
I throw banana peels and stuff right on I got a big thick piece of steel, and I throw stuff right on there, and it's hot, and it steams out all the water, and yeah. Call me a weirdo if you want to, but like I said, I never really fit in with groups of people. I do my own thing, you know. And I take
Yeah,
these
because
sticks.
that's good also, that you're very productive when
Mhm.
doing that.
Yeah,
Because uh especially at your age, or like Frank age, if you're not really into that, sitting, you become lazy. So
yeah,
good thing that you have do things. Frank, also, because he's good in wiring. So he just fixing the microwave, doing
hmm,
the LED light, that if he can able to fix that, he do that
sure.
by himself.
Yep.
And fixing the motorcycle. Sometimes, he teach me how, to fix.
Yeah, these tree branches. These came out of my yard, and I'm cutting them into tiny pieces, like about that big. Throw them
Mm.
right on that hot plate. Let them get hot, dried out, and then throw it in the tumbler with these things that chop and rotate and crush, and out comes a handful of powder. You know, yeah, it's just the tools are worth it because there's, say you buy a pair of pliers and there's 10,000 uses to that pair of pliers other
Mm.
than its specific design. As long as you have a creative brain and you can think outside the box, you can do anything, you know.
Yeah, it's just like, it happens that, Frank, he buy the water motor, because he create, well, he do the, the water pump, you
Hmm.
know pressurized water pump, because here in my building, we're not allowed, to do cleaning. So oh yeah, you just bring your car or bike on, on the car wash. So Frank,
Okay.
he did that, buy things that he needed, to install that. And
Yeah.
it's
Hmm.
nice.
If the women don't find you handsy, they gotta find you handy. Then, if the women don't find you handsome, they better find you handy.
Yeah.
She'll keep you around if you're handy.
Yeah. Well, actually, I, sometimes that I ask him, just teach me, because I want, I want to learn that also. Okay, puts Yahoo Frank those things blazing on the water. Well, Frankie likes that, racing boat. You know, what do you call that, Frank? The 35 to 100 mph. That's fast. Okay.
Miss Lil, I think the best thing about growing flowers and things like that, I don't grow too much vegetables, but I do grow strawberries. And the best thing, there's some good memories for me. And I go back and watch my videos from last summer when all the flowers that I potted up are blooming, they're color, they're gorgeous. And I remember waking up and my wife's already out on the back deck with her
Mm.
feet up, having her bread and coffee and eating fresh strawberries she picked right off the plants. I think, to me, that's the perfect reward right there. She's smiling because she got sweet berries, and she can, you know, that's the best. That's the whole best thing about all that. She can just pleasing my wife, seeing her happy. That's the best thing about all of it.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. If you're not handsome, puts, you can be handy.
You got to be handy.
Well, it's just like, it reminds me of my father, because just a few men likes flowers. Okay. But
Mhm.
you know what, my father, he loves, flower. So
Me
my
too.
mother also, he just buy flowers. And then you can say that early in the morning, there's a lot of butterflies, go on that. Oh, it's
Oh,
so
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, my wife and I will go out shopping a couple times in the spring and let her select the flowers that she likes, and I pot them up and get them good fertilizer on them, and it the color and the hummingbirds and the bees and all that come around, and just life. It's life. It's living.
Yeah, it's just like, it reminds me when I was a kid. So there's a lot of, different colors of flowers. So
Uh
me
huh.
and my little sister, we just play, like, remove all the petals. And then, my mother, when she woke up, especially when she's taking a nap, unknown time, and then we just play, remove. And then where's the
Oh,
flower? And then, at the back of the house, we have, a bunch of petals that, we play that,
Oh
so,
no. Did she pinch you or spank you?
you know,
No.
but, my father, is really upset on us, but my mother,
Sure.
no.
Oh, okay.
And then, my father told us that your mother, she had a hard time, to cultivate that flower, to bring flower, and then, it's easy for you. Well, it's just like, okay, prepare the bill.
Hmm. That's a fact, Frank. Tools save you so much money. You know,
Yeah.
I'll go back to my TV watching neighbors. And when we first moved in here comes my neighbor guy. I like him, but don't get me wrong. But he goes and buys big bags of fertilizer because he sees it on TV advertised during the football game. Scott's
Okay.
Turf Builder. Oh, they put an announcer with a deep, manly voice. Scott's
Mhm.
Turf Builder for that green lawn. And I'm not even looking at that stuff. I'm not
Mhm.
susceptible to it. So he comes over, big belly. What kind of fertilizer are you going to use on your grass? I use Lily Miller. I use Scott. And I said, I'm not. Cut the grass with the lawnmower, let the grass clippings go back down, and the grass maintains itself, feeds itself. You don't have to buy I said told him I don't want to put all that chemicals all over the place. I don't want chemicals in my house. Nature knows what
Mhm.
it's doing.
Be creative.
Nature
How
knows what
to,
it's doing. Yeah, I
yeah.
told him, and I sometimes I chop up paper and I throw it out in the backyard, and the earthworms eat it. And the earthworms are the best. They make anything into fertilizer. Grass
Yeah.
clippings, leaves, paper, anything. They come up out of the ground, eat it at night, they crap it out, and that's the best fertilizer in the world is worm castings. You don't need to
Yeah.
buy anything, you
Yeah.
know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we trade canned veggies with my neighbor for deer meat.
Mm.
What do you mean? We trade canned veggies with my neighbors to deer meat.
Canned vegetables,
Ah, okay, okay, okay.
canned gulai. Hmm.
Mm-hmm. And then, deer meat. We call that usa, usa.
Usa. Hmm.
Yeah, deer usa. Yeah, I try. Cause my brother-in-law live in Palawan. Puerto
Oh.
Princesa. So
Hmm.
there's still virgin forest in Puerto
Hmm.
Princesa. And every
Lots of it.
time we come back here in Metro Manila, he just bring the cured deer meat. It's good.
Hmm. Well, I grew up hunting too, hunting and fishing. That's what I did growing up,
Mm,
especially fishing. Fishing in the rivers out here in the Pacific Northwest, they're full of fish. If you know how to fish, you can feed yourself.
yeah. Is that true that in the states you have to get the fishing permit?
Yeah, yep.
Mhm.
You have to comply with laws with
Mm.
hunting and fishing because they want to regulate how many people are doing it, so you don't
Okay.
wipe out the species. That's why they do
Okay.
it. It's all about conservation. You know.
Mm. But here, in the Philippines, we don't really, if there's on the bay,
Hmm.
you're open, to fishing.
Hmm. Uh, we our early fathers here in the states, with conservation in mind, they didn't want the U.S. to wind up like Europe, where there's
Mhm.
no wildlife. It's gone. It's
Yeah.
gone. It was over harvested centuries ago, and there isn't any wildlife.
Yeah,
That's one.
especially in what state that in California that everything is burned
Hmm.
uh because
Yeah,
of
there's
the wild, what do you call that?
wildfires. Yeah, that
Yeah,
happens.
wildfires.
That's natural. It happens. You know. Well, we get forest fires here, and it's a shame and it's a tragedy, but the animals usually can get out of the way. But you go back into that patch of forest that burned, go back there next year, and the plants go crazy because you just fertilized them.
Yeah,
So,
because of
you
the ashes that
the
came from.
ashes, yeah, that's
Yeah.
what some of my that's what some of my organic fertilizer is too, is ashes. I take my junk mail, throw it in there, burn it up, throw sticks in with it, get the charcoal and the ashes, and mix it with table scraps and stuff like that. Yeah,
So you're really into in the flower
I
planting
love
that
flowers. Oh, I love flowers. I'm so desperate to get to Davao and get a good garden established at my house in Davao. I love the tropical flowers. They grow all year. Already got a plan in my mind, Miss Tate. Our house is small, but on the sides we've got some room. One side, the cats were pooping in it, and the flies were incredible. So I contacted my brother-in-law, and he got a contractor in there to pour concrete on one full side of our house. I've got a vision, Miss Tate. I've got making up a list of things for him to help us out with, like some of that shade netting that you put
mm.
over. So I want to set up a nice little oasis on one side of our house with some furniture, some electric fans, some speakers so we can listen to music, and tons of plants.
Yeah,
Dieffenbachia, coleus, everything. No, I have this vision.
there's a flower that I always, my mother, she loves, to collect different color. The dahlia.
Dahlias, yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's nice. And then, there's other, orchids that we call that sangomai. The
Uh,
color is, there's, two colors, uh, dark pink, and then,
hmm.
light pink. And then, once in the, it's very, very scented orchids.
Yep.
We call that sangomai. Every morning it's just like, when the breeze blow on, the
Yeah.
orchid. Oh my God, it's
Uh-huh.
so.
One of my expat neighbors, he has a sari store in the complex, and he's into orchids. I wasn't able to stop in and see his orchid garden yet, but I really want to go up there and check that out. Orchids are beautiful, man. They're wonderful. I want to plant some gulamella, some orchids, Dieffenbachia, all kinds of stuff over there. That's my vision, Miss Tate. I can see it in my eyes right now. We'll be
How
back
about
away.
roses?
I'm not too much into roses. My wife likes them, but I like, uh, you know,
But roses,
uh,
it's very sensitive. I have two
they are. Hmm.
pots of roses. The other one is dead. So I was
Hmm.
so, my God, I put a lot of, the I put, I bought, the vitamin, for the plants. It did not work.
Yeah.
And then, the other roses, I'm ready, to pull out, because, I can see that, the leaves starts, drying.
Hmm.
And I was surprised that uh 1 week I did not go on my porch, because I was so mad when I saw my my roses. But now they're working good. So I stopped. Okay, I give you a chance, to grow, because my
Hmm.
roses.
See if you can find a product over there. I don't know what's available, but here we use fish fertilizer, Alaska fish fertilizer. It's
Mhm.
pulverized fish guts, and you take that and pour it into some water, into a solution, and it's almost all pure nitrogen for your plants, and just water it once a week with some of that fish fertilizer, and your plants are gonna go crazy. Trust me. Fish fertilizer. Find it somewhere over there. I'm sure you can. If
Yeah, I
not,
think. Yeah.
make it yourself. Take your leftover fish parts, throw them into a blender, blend it up into a mush, throw that in some rainwater, pour it on your plants, and you're going to be happy.
But
Trust
it's
me.
smelly, Bob. It's
I
smelly.
know. I know. I I'm gonna do that with my indoor plants. We're below freezing outside, so I'm not taking my indoor plants outside. It'll kill them. But as soon as the cold lifts a little bit, I'm gonna pour fish fertilizer all over them. Let it sit outside for most of the day, and then bring them in the house and listen to the wife complain. But
It's smelly. Even
may, no,
even
she's.
the skin of banana. My God, there's a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
fruit fly.
hmm That's why I take the skin of bananas. I heat them up on that piece of steel until they're dried. They look like a piece of black bacon. Then grind it up into a powder. You're ready to go. Mix it in with the soil. Yep.
I can tell it. Your wife always does.
Uh, well,
But
all that's done out here in the shop. I don't do that in the house. It's out here in my shop. I'm in my garage shop right now. Yeah,
okay,
that's right.
for
That's right,
puts
Cleo.
and boots, I only grown aloe vera. Yeah, aloe vera puts. That's good,
Oh,
especially
right
that
on.
that's good for the hair. It starts. If you notice that you have falling hair, that's
Mhm.
good also. And grapes, I think you need. Well, the grapes. There's the grapes. Why it's sour? Because sometimes they need sun for that.
I've never grown grapes. My dad did when I was growing up, but I've never grown grapes.
Muscadine wine, very very easy. Well, we don't have grapes. Well, it's just like in La Union's part in North Luzon. They start to grow grapes and apple,
Oh.
but it's not as as not as well. The grapes. It's very small, but it's good. It's sweet. It's seedless, but it is very small.
Mm-hmm.
And the apple also they grown, but there's not well. It's not as as good at the Washington apple because I
Oh
like
man.
Washington apple.
Yeah. Yeah. I do
Even
too.
yeah, even the price here, Bob, it's it's expensive compared the other the green or the Granny
Mm-hmm.
Smith.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I
See
like
if
the Washington apple.
yeah, that's a special crop here in Washington State is apples. Oh, you go over to Wenatchee, Washington, and there are orchards, thousands of different varieties of apples out there, tons of them, and they're all the good ones get exported.
Hmm.
The little crappy ones stay here in Washington State. They're not
Yeah,
very good, but I saw better apples in the Philippines grown in Washington than what we get. It's not fair.
yeah. Okay, from Frank. See how men in the West love to build and make things
hmm
Filipinas better grab this passport process.
That's right. That's right. You got to find a handy guy. You bet. You bet. I know my family discourages me from working on our house myself. Oh, you don't need to do that, bro. You don't need to do that. Da, 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 da. It's like, but that's our culture to be self-reliant. That's our culture. Do it yourself. Don't hire someone, but I'm going to have to I'm going to have to hire some of it done and do some of it myself.
Hmm.
My wife told me that the reason why we don't want you to do it yourself because it looks like you're poor. You don't have anything if you do it yourself. I don't care what the neighbors think. I
Yeah.
don't care.
Me also, Bob, I'm same way that, who cares?
Yeah. I don't care what other people think. I live my life.
Well, when it comes to electrical, Kuya Joey, I'm gonna, I don't, because I'm not really into that. So when it comes something that, something here that, oh, it's wiring, so I let Frank fix that because it happens to me that, I try, because when I saw that, some electrician, I'm just, observe. I thought that it's easy for to connect the wires. So you have to connect that with negative to negative, positive to positive. It's just like for me, okay, put together, okay,
Yep.
and put electrical tape, because this is what happened on the transistor radio, the outlet. The cord was just two wires that connect, so
Yeah.
it's not really safe. So what I did, because okay, it's easy, because I saw some electrician that they do that, but I didn't know that you have to connect the wire into negative or positive. What I did is just put together, okay, that this twist, and then put
Hmm.
electrical tape, and then plug, and then what? When I
Pop.
plug, boom, it's a boom, and then
Boom.
suddenly the
Hmm.
place it's black out. And what
Yeah.
happened? And then they check, the transformer. There's nothing wrong with the transformer, so I just be quiet. I'm the one who did that. So when it comes to that, okay,
Yeah.
no, I gonna in charge to Frank for that.
Now there is a home repair that I hired a plumber to come in and do. It cost me $600 to get it done. But what it is an outside water faucet. They have the water faucets in the cold climates go. It's an assembly. It goes inside your wall so it doesn't freeze and break the pipes. Okay, the water is actually here, but the
Mm-hmm.
outside of the wall is over here. You understand? It's an assembly that goes in and it fits together. So it was leaking last summer, so I repaired it twice. And now it's beyond the point to where I can't repair it anymore. It has to be replaced. And when we came back home from Davao, it's got a mind of its own. The water is running, it's running. And so I called a plumber and I paid $600 to get it fixed because first thing it was a strong young man. He's got all the tools he needs. He's a journeyman plumber. He knows what he's doing. First thing he did is he went underneath the house and says, "Well, I can't reach it from underneath the house, so I'm gonna have to go up into your kitchen." And he went underneath the sink and he cut a hole in the wood and he removed and replaced the part, perma-swedged the fittings together. Everything is to spec. In just a couple of hours, he got that done. It was worth $600 to me because I'm not a young man and I don't like crawling around on my hands and knees underneath the house or crawling around on my hands and knees underneath the kitchen sink. So yeah, some things are
Well,
worth it to me to hire it done. You know.
mhm. Well, it's just like same what Frank. If it's too you know, well, he's no longer. you know,
Mm,
it's kind of a hard for him to go inside the cabinet, if do because there's a if there's a leak on the on the sink. Well, we just call the maintenance to come
yeah,
over here to
yeah,
fix. But
I get
sometimes
that.
we don't. If I can able, just but sometimes me, no, it's okay because I can see that he has a hard time, to go to get inside, the cabinet,
Uh huh.
fix, the things.
That's
So
where
I
I
just
was
call,
at.
the maintenance.
That's where I was at. I'm gonna have to get an electrician in here soon because I've got one. The microwave when it goes on for very long, it pops the circuit breaker. So I'm gonna have to get an electrician in here and see if he can troubleshoot what's going wrong. I can do minor electrical stuff. I like the electrical outlets and switches. I can replace that myself. But when it comes to troubleshooting what's wrong, I want a journeyman to come in and we'll have to pay for getting that repaired. You know.
Yeah, when it comes to electrical wiring, I know I don't, because it
Hmm.
it might gonna don't
Yeah. Huh?
work. You're gonna
Yeah.
end up, it's
Yes,
gonna
ma'am.
broke.
Yes,
But
ma'am. You
on
might wind up in the hospital or get knocked on your ass. Boom. Ah!
Okay, let me read this from Puts and Boots. I'm proud to say that I fixed this. I built that. It might look crappy, but the point in the work, it works. It worry about the looks later.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, later never comes because I moved to the something else. My
Yep.
lady better have patience with me on that. Yeah.
Yeah, Frank's right. It's like that when you get older, like crawling around underneath the house. For God's sakes, I'm 60 years old. If I can pay somebody else to do it, I'm going to pay someone else to do it. Or sitting on your hands and knees underneath the kitchen sink working. No, if I can pay somebody else to do it, yeah, have at it, kid. Go. I'm not doing that anymore.
Oh yeah, that's right. So sometimes that when he do something that okay, I always there, I always there for him. You need help, okay? You need,
Yeah.
so I always ask, you need help. I can do
Mhm.
that, but
You know what?
he said, oh, it's okay.
I tell my wife, if you really want to help me, go make some lunch. Have some lunch ready when I'm done.
Well, it's just like me also that Frank once he cleaned the motorcycle. Okay, I asked him anything you need. It's a cold beer. Okay, I
There you
have to
go.
go down.
Perfect. When I'm done, I want a cold beer and a lunch. That's how you can help me. Yeah. I'll be right back, Miss Tate.
Okay, sure. Take your time. Okay, Kuya Joey, makita ko kayong lahat mamaya. Kailangan kong tapusin ang aking Tagalog na video para sa class. Sabihin kay Frank na sumali kung gusto niyang matuto. Ito ay free. Okay, well, Frank, you want to learn, want to join, Joey, to learn Tagalog, Frank? Frank, lesson two post today. Okay, Lance. True, all the stomach can work miracle. Okay, Joey. Have an awesome day. So, okay, guys. I have a story about. This is the story about. I don't know for those. Muhammad Ali. One of my favorite that Muhammad Ali. Okay, so I like Muhammad Ali because I remember the song the greatest love of all. I think that's dedicated you know to him. So I really admire. Actually, he's went here in the Philippines. That's why one of the mall here that's Ali Mall, because that's what do you call that uh I forgot three. Wait, hold on.
Here's another free ingredient for my organic fertilizer is right here is coffee grounds.
Oh
Throw it
yeah,
on,
that's yeah.
throw
And
that on.
even the tea, Bob, that's
Hmm.
good
Sure,
also.
sure. It's all organic. Yeah, I'm gonna go throw this on a steel plate right over here with those little pieces of tree branches I just chopped up and basically cook it.
Yeah,
There it goes. Might be able to hear that.
yeah.
I'll
I
put.
hear the.
Yeah, you hear it. I'll be right back. I'll go put this back in the coffee maker.
Yeah, that's the Tria in Manila. That's Muhammad Ali. I like him. And when they said that uh try to he's some in the states that wants him to go to Vietnam War. He refused to go to Vietnam. So I really admire about him, Muhammad Ali. And then the song on the greatest lovable. on the lyrics that I can visualize about why why Muhammad Ali refused to go to Vietnam War, because they thrown about the belt, the title, because he refused to go to Vietnam War. And then the song that that says that they can't take away my dignity. So yeah, so no matter what, they can't, they can't take that, so that's that's good, good story about Muhammad Ali.
Oh, thanks, DT. Yeah, practical advice. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm a cheapskate. I'm kuripot.
Okay, you're kuripot, ah. You're
Kuripot. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
kuripot.
I'm trying. Kuripot. I'll try.
Sounds like your sounds like Japanese.
No.
Kuripot, kuripot. In, what's in English? Thrifty, kurip? No,
Thrifty.
it's not thrifty.
Yeah, it's kind of a cheapskate,
Mm.
kind of like that. Yeah, yeah,
Actually, there's a saying here, for those Ilocano people, okay, they we they call it their kuripot, because well, I don't think that they're very thrifty when it comes when it comes to spending money. They're very
yeah.
thrifty about that, so that's why
hmm
they well known as being kuripot.
Oh, my wife has told me all kinds of things like that. That Ilongos, Ilongos, they're like a storm. They like to talk a lot of crap, and they're these people are kuripot, and these people are. It's really, honey. Yeah, that's just our way. The
Okay, I have a
Ilocanos are
question
the.
for you. I
Mhm.
have a question for you, Bob, because
Yes,
starts
ma'am.
when you're courting your wife.
Mm,
Is your parents never think that, oh, don't marry a Filipino, because they gonna if you're gonna marry her, you're gonna marry the whole family. They never
no,
say about that.
we grew up multicultural here.
Okay.
Multicultural. It's okay here in the Northwest. It's okay. You know, um,
So.
getting together with a black or Asian Latino. My sister married a black. My brother married a Latina, and I married a Filipino. So
mm,
you know, it's the way it is here.
yeah. Yeah, actually, before you get something there, so I mentioned about Muhammad Ali, because I really admire Muhammad Ali. He really stand for because I remember when I watch on the history about him, that
hmm
the government wants him to go to Vietnam War, but he
Yeah,
refused.
I
It
respect
doesn't
that.
matter, it doesn't matter for him, that the belt that he has, the
Mm-mm.
title that he has.
Yep.
So I you know
I
I really I really admire Muhammad Ali about that.
Me too, because he stood by his values.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, yeah. Well, that's kind of the same mentality that I have about being forced to wear masks. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want the damn government to tell me what to do. That's a common thing among us Americans. You stay out of my house. We don't want government coming into our house for any reason. Get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Go. Just leave. You know. Yeah, I respect that. I respect that about him. Yeah, he stood by his values and told them, I'm not going to go kill people I don't hate.
Yeah,
I'm not going to go kill these people for you. I'm not doing it." And he went to jail for it. Good
yeah.
man. Mhm.
And I don't know if you're because that's one of my one of the list that Western people that I really admire. Admire. Actually, Muhammad Ali came here in the Philippines. That Tria in Manila. So that's
Thriller,
why
yeah, I watched that. Yeah, I
oh
watched that
yeah.
fight. Yeah, you bet I did. Yeah,
And then that's in Quezon City, Cubao. So one of the mall they named after Muhammad Ali. Ali Mall
right
because
on.
of that, Tria in Manila.
Hmm. The Thriller in Manila. I remember that. I loved that guy. He was a big mouth. He was. Yeah, I loved. He was a performer and a boxer. He was a performer, man. I love that guy. Self-promoting performer. I love the guy.
I love, I love also, the way that, he has a big mouth, but,
Uh-huh.
makes sense, makes sense that, the word that, came out on his mouth that, he gonna stands for that, like, what happened in Vietnam
Hmm.
War, he
I
really,
do too. I respect it. I respect it very much. If you don't believe in it, don't do it. Yep.
yeah, right. My parents, okay, I remember seeing Ali drive around the south side in his Gold Mark III. What is Gold Mark III, Frank? My parents always just wanted us to be happy. Yeah,
Is that
all parents are like that.
is that a Lincoln? Lincoln Mark III? I think it's a Lincoln Continental. Yeah,
It's a car.
it's a car. Yeah, Lincoln Continental, I think, or something.
And and then the other, he's a politician. I don't know if you know. Well, John McCain,
Yeah, I remember him.
the
Yeah.
I well, he's a Republican, but the thing is, well, I just when I saw that there's a conference that there's a reporter asked to degrade Barack Obama, but even though that there he's a Republican, Obama is the Democrat, until this person that degrading Barack Obama, and he tells the world that no, don't say that to Barack Obama, because Barack Obama, he's a intelligence man.
Yeah.
And I saw, wow, I really admire, even though they're opposite party, but I can tell that he's saying that the truth. It doesn't matter if you're if you're white or black,
Mm-hmm.
or you're Republican or Democrat, as long as you're not telling you're not telling the degrading a person, he will
Mm-hmm.
tell. So I just I really like about John McCain.
Yeah, I know my own life experiences. If you abuse and degrade other people, it comes back on you one way or
Yeah,
another. It really does. So you better off just not to do it. Don't you know you got to
yeah,
I don't know, that's just my own experience with life and watching idiots who are spout out a bunch of BS. Like
yeah,
you're an idiot and you're telling everybody around you that you're an idiot you know
yeah. Because it's just he's only senator that that tells that even they're not same party, but I can
yeah.
tell he's a good and
Hmm.
he's a good man.
Hmm.
And that's that's. And then one thing about about the story of because I watching this on the on HBO, Bob, the history. I learn a lot of that. I really spend time watching that, because I
Yeah.
learn.
Hmm.
I learn. And one thing that I learn about the life of Abraham Lincoln, become he became president. He
Yeah.
was a poor
Oh yeah.
boy living in the woods. And
Yep.
then
Hmm.
here's the thing that I was really admired, the stepmom, because not all stepmom are very are very supportive with with their step children.
Yeah. Hmm.
And one of his successful in life of because of his stepmother that very supportive,
Hmm.
giving books to read. That's I really I really love I really love to watch
I
things that I can learn.
yeah, there's I think I mentioned this on your live before that there is a lot of misinformation out there spouted out by the national news stuff, bullshit.
Yeah, yeah.
BBC, CNBC, that about how the races in America hate each other, and I'm not seeing it. We get along well. We all do. We're all Americans. Like, example, when I take my wife out on a date in an Indian casino. I grew up with Indians. I grew up with Japanese, Filipinos. Everybody, they're just like everybody else. We all are the same. We
Well,
all want the
I
same
think
things, you know.
it's according it's according how you deal with how do you deal with this
Yeah.
minority.
Mhm.
Because if they're not BS or in an asshole to you, why you should be asshole to them.
There's no reason why you should.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I told you, a white and Filipino couple right here. The people behind the fence are from Bangladesh. Two white, a white couple there, another white couple. Then next to them is a Korean American and a white guy. Next to them is a Mexican family. Right over there is a American Indian and a white. If we hate each other that much, we'd be out killing each other all the time. But
yeah,
most of the stuff you hear on the mass media is not true. Don't believe it. When I take my wife to the Indian casino for dinner and dancing, man, we're all on the dance floors, gays, lesbians, blacks, whites, Indians, Latinos, all dancing together, having a good time. So
yeah.
that's why I say I'm not seeing it. You know, it's just not true. If you want to
Yeah, it's
hate
just like
somebody, that's your business. But I don't hate other people because they look different than me. That's foolish.
mhm. Well, it's just like it's just like in Mindanao area, here in the Philippines, they just shown the advisory that, oh, don't go to somewhere in Mindanao because it's not safe. No, it's not.
Yep,
There's this
that's
area that you're free to go around. But like like I mentioned that there's a certain area that Christian Filipino, they cannot go to the Muslim or Filipino
correct.
area. So
Hmm.
all you need to do is the companion from that place that
Yeah,
they will assist you, because once you go there and without coordinate with their with their leader, it's a
n-
threat. It's
now
a
you're in
threat on
trouble.
them.
That's right, because they're going to
Yeah.
approach you. What are you doing here? Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't blame them for protecting their families. I don't blame them at all. You know, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
go into the Muslim areas because I'm not invited in, and I won't go there. It's just not smart. A white foreigner going into a Muslim area in Mindanao, what are they going to think? They're going to think I'm out there as a scout looking around. You know, so I don't go to their areas. I'd stay out of there.
Yeah, because especially Frank, he been here for 5 years, Bob.
Yeah, yeah,
He never experienced somebody that somebody harassment. Oh, because like I mentioned, you you don't have some people that they treat you you're BS, or you're an asshole. Okay, so treat people as same as you treat yourself. So I think you
that's it.
really
Yes, I agree. I agree 100%. Treat people with the dignity that you expect to be treated with.
respect.
Hmm. Yep, works all over the world for me. You know,
But sometimes people don't don't know that. Okay, don't know that. It's because of it's just like what do you call that, the the superior thing.
what I've noticed here in the U.S. growing up here is, and abroad, it, it doesn't matter what skin color you are or where you're from. If you're a racial bigot, you're an idiot. You're
Anywhere you
stupid.
go. Yeah.
Anywhere you go. If someone is a racial bigot, and they are of all colors, you're
Hmm.
a moron, and I want you away from me. because I don't deal well with stupid people. Period. You know.
Yeah, it's just like, it's in the person also that, why,
That.
why they get in trouble,
Uh
why
huh.
why people doing this because of their, it's just like, here's the thing, that when it comes, go to the bank, okay, as much as we can, especially me, I just talk with this, with the, with the manager, with the, with the teller, with, with professionalism, because me, I represent myself,
Yeah.
talking with, Western people. I represent myself in behalf of Frank.
Hmm.
So it's very important. And also Frank, okay, I don't want him to get in trouble here, because he's representative of American people here in the Philippines. So I don't want my people that, oh, all American I like that, okay. So I don't want, my people think that, especially, he's very careful, don't, I don't he don't I tell him, no, don't show, don't show that you are superior, you don't show
Hmm.
that, you know better than,
Yeah.
them better than my people.
Hmm.
But like I said, he's been here for 5 years. Nothing's happened, because he's very careful, because he's always in his mind that he's the representative of American people
Right.
here in the
Th-
Philippines.
that's the way I look at it too. Yeah. That. Yeah. When it comes with dealing with banking and all that stuff, my wife handles it because she knows the system and she knows how slow it is, and so she deals with all that stuff. She's very protective of me. She won't put me in a situation where I might lose my temper. Yeah.
Oh,
You know,
well,
yeah. But yeah, we foreigners over in the Philippines, we are a representative of our country. Because
yeah,
to the Filipinos, I might be the only American that they ever talk to. And if I'm an asshole, well, then they're going to think all the other Americans are assholes. That ain't
exactly.
right because we're certainly not assholes. Most of us are not.
Mhm. Some, especially the ones that are loud about their uh whole wholeness.
Yeah, if they can't hold their mouth. Yeah. Do you really gotta tell everybody around you that you're a moron? Can't you just sit there quietly?
So it's just like, don't show on your, like,
Yeah.
like I mentioned that, if you do that, don't bring it here in the Philippines, or
Yeah.
don't bring it in other country.
Hmm.
So it's just like, about, there's about, a black woman went to a Dubai, okay, going to Dubai, that, women there are covered, okay.
Yes.
And then, she was they cannot really, this is black woman, okay, she cannot talk, politely, because, in Arab country, when it comes, if you're disrespect the Arab
Yeah.
men, oh my god, you get in trouble.
Uh
They
huh.
don't really care where you came from.
Hmm.
So it happens that, she was yelling, and then she went to the prison, because that
Yeah.
disrespect with the, with Arab men. So
Yeah.
it's
They
just
have
like,
laws. Yeah.
if you're gonna go, if you go in other country, okay, if you don't want to get in trouble with the people, don't bring it, don't bring all the, the
Yeah.
ass, the the
I agree.
BS. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. If you're stupid, it's better for you to just sit there and be quiet and don't prove that you're stupid.
Yeah.
Don't.
It's just like, which one you gonna go? You're dumb,
Mm,
okay, but you're stupid.
yeah. Yeah.
No.
Better off just not to tell people that you're a dummy. Just sit there quietly and let them think you're dumb, but don't prove it. Don't open your mouth and prove it.
Yeah. So yeah, okay, Rob. I already two
All right.
hours.
Okay.
Talking. So
Well, thanks
thank
for
you
having
so
me
much.
up, Miss Lil. Yeah.
As always, Bob. You're always there for my live stream. So
Yeah.
but
Today's
a
Sunday.
lot. Yeah. Sunday,
Sunday's
what
date
time?
date day with my wife, so I'm gonna bounce out of here and wait for her to wake up.
Yeah, it's a date time.
Hmm.
So that's what time is there now?
7 a.m.
11, 7 a.m. Okay.
Hmm.
So here it's 11, almost 11:30 p.m.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank you so much, Bob,
Peace out.
for joining.
Mhm.
Okay.
God bless everybody. Good night.
Okay. So thank you so much, Spoots. DT Dakin. Okay, Frank. Who else? Kuya Joey. Thank you. And who else? Margie. Thank you so much for coming. Oh my God. I have who else? Poots, thank you. So, thank you so much, guys. So, magandang gabi sa inyong lahat. Ako po ay magsa-sign off. Okay, that's Tagalog. So, good night and have a good day to you. And good night, everyone. Bye.